Hello, my beautiful friends. If you are new here, my name is Shay, and welcome to my channel, A Book Affair. If you are a returning viewer, hey girl, hey, or hey guy, hey. Thank you guys so much for clicking on today's video. As you already see by the title, this is my January wrap up. I cannot believe that we are already at the end of January whenever you guys are seeing this, depending on when I post it. I cannot believe that January of 2025 is already over and we are now either approaching the month of February or already in it, again, depending on when I post this. So we're gonna make this short, cute, and sweet today. This is actually, you guys won't know this in real time, but in real time, yesterday I filmed 2 videos. You guys should have already seen those 2 by now. And so this is obviously the day after filming those 2 videos. So the fact that I'm filming 2 days back to back, I can't believe it. I'm proud of myself. Patting myself on the back. Patting myself on the back. Okay, we're just gonna go ahead and jump right into it. So for the month of January, I completed a total of 4 books. I am really proud of myself simply for the fact of, by default, like, I'm a slow reader. And I am not a person who's gonna have a reading goal per month for like 8+ books. Would I love to? Absolutely. But that's just not realistic for me. More so, what's realistic for me is more along the lines of 2 to 3 books. 2 to 3 books looks real good, right? Like, for me. Now, of course, if it's audio, I can really listen and really get those books out and like knock them off and check them off my list. But you guys will be surprised because I only had 1 audio book read in the month of January. Can y'all believe it? I'm surprised because I'm an audiobook girly. I love them, but I did not need them. Now, I will go ahead and go through the books. We're gonna dive right into them, dive right into the books that I read, how I felt about them, the rating of them, and yeah, I won't hold y'all here long, so just bear with me. Okay, reviewing my read list on Goodreads. Also, I now also have a Fable. I believe I have my Goodreads in the, I'm not exactly sure what it's called. It's not the description, it's like the info box. If you guys want to follow me there on Goodreads, please feel free to do so. And I want to say I also have my Fable link there as well, because I just started using Fable, I think at the end of December, and I really like it. I really do like it, especially because of all the options that it has to kind of just give you more so a visual of the things that you read. Fable a little aggressive because around 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night, I be getting like a notification like, hey, did you read today? Share that you read. And I'm like, don't do that. Fable, don't be pressuring me. You don't need to remind me to note that I read today, okay? I mean, sometimes a reminder's cool, but other times, like, it feels like it's being a bully. I need to play around in the settings a bit more because I'm still not that familiar with Fable. I'm pretty sure I can turn it off. I just haven't yet sat down to try to figure it out. Anyway, y'all wasn't here for that. Let's go ahead and dive right into the books that I read and how I felt about them this month. All right, so my last video, I shared with you guys the books that I had planned on reading, you know, my TBR. I was in the middle of one, and so I will go ahead and give you my final reviews, as I've already stated. I'm sorry, I'm repeating myself. We're gonna start off with The Answer Is No by Frederick Bachman. As you guys have already heard me rave about, y'all hear my dog? Hey mama, hey Lexi, hi baby, hey, sorry, y'all heard too. Hey babe, I'm recording a video. I'm recording right now. Can I record? Just be quiet. She wants me to play. Okay, I think she's gonna sit. All right, you guys, so the very first book that I read in the month of January for 2025 is The Answer Is No by Frederick Bachman. I have already raved about Frederick Bachman and just his writing style and him being a newer author for me, and just my true love for the way that he puts these stories together. And so The Answer Is No was nothing short of amazing. Now, it is a short story, I will say that. So even though I read a total of 4 books, 2 of them were short stories / novellas, and I had 2 full-size novels. Either way, I'm still proud of myself. So The Answer Is No was about, oh my gosh, I do not know the character's name. Let me see if I can find out his name. Okay, Lucas. Lucas is the main character, and Lucas is pretty much like an introvert, right? Lucas is okay, and he finds his happiness in doing his own thing, being away from people, not really engaging with people. He has his routine. And in this short story, his routine is interrupted on several occasions by various different neighbors in his apartment complex, and it is just a hoot, you guys. My actual review on this says it was such a humorous and delightful story about happiness, and I rated it 5 stars. I rated it 5 stars because I was giggling, kikiing in the bed on my Kindle reading it. I could not put it down. I started it very late, I believe on a Friday night, and then I end up, I believe, waking up in the middle of the night and finishing it. And I'm pretty sure I shared that in my previous video about it as well. It was just really good. It was just really good. Again, Frederick Bachman has a very unique way of how he shares stories that we can all relate to at various degrees, but we can all relate to it. And he just like brings the, I guess you can say, just the sheds light on like humanity and just the complexities of us as like humans and things like that. I don't know, I just love it. Really enjoyed it. So that was The Answer Is No by Frederick Bachman. All right, moving on to the next novella or short story. What's the difference between a short story and a novella? Do y'all know? I'll have to look that up. I'm not gonna look it up now because I gotta get going for my meeting, but I'm gonna look up like what's the difference between a novella and a short story. So the next one is Evidence of the Affair by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I also really enjoyed this short story / novella. I really enjoyed it. This one was also read on my Kindle. I actually finished it in a day. I just looked at it. I finished it in a day. I finished this book in one day, and I rated it 4 out of 5 stars. Now, pretty much what the story is about, I rewatched my previous video and I realized once I completed this novella / short story, I realized that the description was a bit off. And so I believe I said 2 people who were having an affair or something. Anyway, this woman, the main character, her name is Carrie. Carrie ends up discovering a letter written by another woman to her husband. Carrie then takes it upon herself to write the woman's husband, so the woman who's having an affair with her husband, a letter just informing him. Them two end up corresponding, and so pretty much the entire novella is just a collection and us reading the letters written between the two, and also the letters revealed between their spouses. And so just the exchange and just the vulnerability and the feelings of, you know, everything that's coming up with them discovering that, hey, my person is having an affair. And I think the only reason I did not give it a 5 is because it was truly like 90%, 95% letters. And if I wanted to read letters, I feel like, okay, I mean, I don't know, I could have went through my text messages or something like that. But it was still done very well. I feel like, just again, even their experiences, some of us, you know, could relate to it. Not like the cheating part, but just you can imagine, like, okay, if this were to happen, I can definitely understand how these two people would feel in this situation. Like, discovering that their spouses are having an affair or whatever. And so I think just because, again, it was just really letters, that's why I was like, oh, because I think I kind of got tired of reading the letters. I think I more so wanted to, I don't know, because honestly, I was about to say, get the perspective of, you know, Carrie herself, but honestly, like the letters to the husband, so his name is David. The correspondence is with David. David is the guy whose wife is having an affair with her husband. So even with that correspondence, she is, you know, letting us inside her mind as far as like what she's going through and what she's feeling. But still, I think reading it in like letter format was just a bit off for me. But again, I still very much so enjoyed it. And of course, you know, you get a nice little wrap up at the end, and so I also enjoyed that more. So that's definitely why I gave it, you know, a 4 instead of like maybe a 3 or something. But it wasn't quite a 5, but I still very much so enjoyed it. All right, so moving on to my next book. Now, I will preface with, I did state in my previous video I wasn't quite sure if I was going to finish this book or not. And that book is Vicious by V.E. Schwab. V.E. Schwab? Did I say that right? This book is by V.E. Schwab. I feel like I said it very wrong. And I did finish it. It took me, oh, you guys, it took me a while. I'm looking at my Goodreads. It says I started it on January 3rd. And I didn't finish until January 16th. I honestly believe I had some overlap with reading Vicious. And it overlapped with The Answer Is No in The Evidence of the Affair, because I started, like, Vicious was the first book I picked up in actually the year of 2025, so in January. However, I had to get those 2 other novellas in just to get some feeling of completion, because I was really struggling like with Vicious. I did end up giving it a 4 out of 5 stars because I feel like there was like a little hump I had to eventually get over. The characters are very morally gray, and I think also that's where I was kind of just having some internal issues with The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. It also was a book that was very different. Now, I really do enjoy the work of V. Schwab, but I'm wondering if, like, okay, if all of her characters are going to be, like, very morally gray, like, do I, like, keep reading them? And it's not that it's bad, but I think specifically with Vicious, it was, like, the playing God aspect. And I'm a Christian, and I do not play with God. And so I think I just had to kind of like just get over that. And granted, it fits with the storyline, like it makes sense, but I also realized in the moment of me listening to it, because it was on audiobook, I had to realize, like, okay, it's a part of the story. But it was interesting enough, like, I feel like it was parts broken up where, you know, it was a lot of story building, because you had to learn and find out like the foundation and kind of like the genesis of how these 2 friends got to where they are. And oh my gosh, what are their names? Their names are Eli and Victor. Yes, their names are Eli and Victor. So you had to kind of go to the genesis of how they became friends and how they got to where they are, you know, throughout the book. And so I got it, I understood it. But again, I was just like, okay, but the story still piqued my interest. I still wanted to know how it was going to end, and it wrapped up nicely. It wrapped up nicely to where I did rate it a 4 out of 5. Now, I know there is a second book of this, so I believe it's a duology, and the second book is called Vengeance. Now, I'm not quite sure if I'm going to read Vengeance. At the end of the audiobook, it did kind of share like a quick clip of Vengeance, and I was like, what the hell, how we get here? Like, I'm pretty sure if I read the book, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm screaming. I'm pretty sure if I read the book that it would make sense, like the clip that was shared and that I heard, I'm pretty sure it would make sense in the grand scheme of things. It just seemed so different though. I was just like, how did we, who are they? How did we get here? But again, literally it was a crumb compared to the entire cookie. So yeah. Oh, I don't think I told you guys what this book's about. So you have Victor and Eli who met in college, and they, I do not want to spoil it. Like I mentioned, they are morally gray. Let's just say they hit a crossroads. Some powers are discovered. They hit a crossroads and they are in conflict with one another. We'll say that they are in conflict with one another, and it's just us kind of following along how these two previous best friends are going to possibly resolve what has led them to this point. That probably really sucks, but again, I really don't want to ruin it. I don't want to say too much because I feel like it'll give the story away. But overall, it still was nicely done, even though for me, some of the concepts kind of had me raising my eyebrows. But again, I can recognize that's just because I don't be playing with God. Even honestly, with Eddie LaRue and the character who was similar to like Satan or the devil, I also was kind of like, right? Am I raising my eyebrow? I was actually also like kind of raising my eyebrow at that because again, it's like, but all in all, still a good book. I also gave Eddie LaRue 4 stars back when I read it several months ago, so I gave this 4 stars. And I'm not that person who's going to avoid those types of books because there are fantasy books that I also enjoy, and you know, they have other entities or whatever you want to call it in it. But again, that's just how I felt in that moment while listening / reading Vicious. But I did enjoy it, and I still would absolutely recommend it if you have not read it. It is one of her earlier books, so this one, when did it come out? I want to say it was like 2013. Am I making it up? Yeah, 2013. Yeah, it's definitely over a decade old, but still very much so enjoyable. All right, so that is the 3rd book of the month that I completed. So that was Vicious again by V.E. Schwab. And the very last book was The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. You guys, I finished that book on my Kindle. When I say this Kindle is dangerous, you guys. Like, this Kindle is dangerous. I've already told y'all 100 million times that I am an audiobook girly, but when I say this thing makes me want to read so much more, like, I get it. Like, being a part of the Kindle girlies, I get it, and I'm never turning back. I was telling my sister earlier before recording this video, because I was telling her I was preparing to record one, and I was just raving about how much I love my Kindle. And she was like, it's so funny because you were like against them. And I kind of was, just because of the whole Amazon and controversy and all that stuff. I was considering maybe even like a different e-reader. But then I realized, like, I'm not even the type of person who's about to jump through hoops to try to get books on a said device. And I said, I'm gonna just stick with a Kindle because Amazon makes it easy with the Kindle Unlimited to get it. And also it just helps me not collect more books than I already have. Even though I admire all the beautiful bookshelves and things of that nature, I just cannot see myself moving, you know, all those books and things of that nature. So I already collect a lot of things as is, shoes, purses and stuff. So I don't need it to be books. And so I really, really love my Kindle. Really, really love it. It was the best investment, even though it was a Christmas gift from my hubby. It was great. Love it. The Kindle chef's kiss, I get it. If you don't have one, get it. It will change your life. Because now I'm just like, I would much rather use my Kindle, depending on the book, than using the audiobook. So anyway, back to The Naturals. So The Naturals is about teenagers who are pretty much working with the FBI to solve crimes. So this is book 1 of, I believe, is 4. I believe there's 3 others in the series, so make a total of 4. And this one follows a 17-year-old. Her name is Cassie. Cassie is pretty much recruited by an FBI program where there are other teenagers similar to her that have some type of power, and they are more so working on cold cases until they eventually work on a real live case. Now, I will say this book had my attention from the very beginning. I started reading this book, oh my gosh, I didn't even on the 17th, and I finished it last night. I thought I had so much more to go, and I didn't. And so when I say this book had my attention, it had my attention. Of course, it's like YA. And once I got to the end, like the twist was revealed, I was so upset. And I really can't explain why. I don't know. Y'all, I still have yet to digest it, because honestly, I haven't even rated this book. As of now, I have yet to rate this book, and I'm recording it the day after I've read it. I thought I would sleep on it and think about it. I still really cannot come up with a rating. I'm somewhere between a 3 and a 4. But then when I think about that, I roll my eyes, because I'm like, ugh, it's probably like one of those books where I should occasionally give it a 0.5, right? So maybe a 3.5, maybe a 3.75 or something along those lines. And I know I've said plenty of times I do not do the half star point because it's just too much. But this book, I'm like, okay, I get it. So I don't know. So hopefully by the time I edit this and post it, I would have a star rating. I do not have a star rating. Like, I don't. But again, I can say in one breath that I enjoyed the book. And then in another, I'm just like, why did they have to be how it ended? I don't know. Like, I literally had like a face like this. Like this. While reading my Kindle. Like, I felt it while I was reading last night, and I remember like saying things under my breath and grunting and just being like upset. Like, I don't know. Did y'all read The Naturals? If so, like, let me know how you felt about it, because again, it's not a bad book. And I did get to get a sneak peek of what book 2 is about, and I'm like, I really would like to read book 2 and that specific teenager and, you know, their story. But honestly, I'm not quite sure. It's not bad though. It's not bad, but I don't know, you guys. I have no idea what my star rating is right now, but I did finish The Naturals. I've had it for months on my shelf. I am glad that I finally got around to it. It was enjoyable. I don't know. Like, I don't want to say, I'm just rambling now. I need to wrap this up because of my meeting, but I don't want to say that the ending was rushed, like the twist was rushed. But again, when it was revealed, it's like, I didn't even see it. Like, I did not see that coming. I first initially became upset because the person who I thought was about to be revealed for X, Y, and Z, I got upset because I was like, oh my gosh, that makes sense. But then when it wasn't that person and it was like another person, I was like, well, how the hell did we get here? And just the learning about how that person became like the bad guy, I was mad. So I don't know, very complex feelings right now. I have no idea, but I'm glad I got to it and I'm glad I finished it. Like, I hope that I can figure out a suitable star rating for it, because it was not a bad book. It wasn't at all. Perhaps I need to read the second book to see if I feel a little better. But just like with Vicious, I'm not in a rush to read Vengeance. And just like with finishing The Naturals, I'm not in a rush to read book 2, even though I have some interest in it. Hey friends, this is Shay. This is me actually currently editing the video. You guys are soon to be wrapping up my January wrap up. So at the very beginning of the video, I did state that I only read 4 books. However, if you did notice the little title inserts, I actually did end up reading 5. And the 5th book was actually Killer Instinct, which I found to be very funny because I was very indifferent on if I wanted to finish it. But I think by the time I recorded that video, I still had a few days of January left. So I was like, the Naturals was really good. So I think I can go ahead and just knock it out, which I did. I thoroughly enjoyed it. So Killer Instinct, I gave it a 4 out of 5. It's not a 5 simply because I think it just being YA. Granted, it's very captivating. The plot twist was much better and made more sense to me. And then the plot twist in the Naturals that really pissed me off, as you guys just heard. So this one made sense just because even at one time in the video, Lord, one time in the book, I remember saying like, oh, a certain person was mentioned. I was like, I wonder if he's like going to have something to do with it. And so I pretty much was, did I just give it away? I hope I didn't give it away. I don't know. I hope I didn't give it away. But yeah, someone was mentioned. I was just like, oh, I wonder if they're going to be, relevant. And so yeah, that was, oh my gosh, here go my dog again. Y'all may hear her heels in the hall. I'm going to wrap this up. But yes, I gave Killer Instinct a 4 out of 5 stars. Really, really good. I cannot wait to finish the Natural series. Very easy read. I love the character growth of the kids. They're young adults. I mean, they're 17, but I love the growth of them and them coming into themselves. So I can't wait to see what the remaining 2 actually entail. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys wrap up this video. But I'm not quite yet like in a rush, so a bit indifferent right now. So just to go ahead and wrap up this video, the 4 books that I did complete for the month of January is The Answer Is No by Frederick Bachman, Evidence of the Affair by Taylor Jenkins Reid, Vicious by V.E. Schwab, and the very last book, and number 4, is The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. All right, you guys, so that is it. That is all. Since my alarm wrapped up inside my previous recording, let me go ahead and go so I can prepare for this meeting that I have in about 20 minutes. Thank you guys so much for sticking around. Please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and turn on that notification bell so you are aware when I upload a new video. Down below, let me know what your favorite read has been for the month of January, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye. It's still recording. I got a lot going on.